lost. When I paint, I get lost. Reality just goes away, and I just lose myself, and before you know it, the day's gone, and I have a painting. I really, really enjoy it a lot.
The paintings of John Horbacz show us enticing hints of a dream world just beyond our perception that struggles to break through into reality.
Like, I seen an interview one time with Michael Jackson. They asked him, where do you come up with your lyrics? And he said his mind is like an antenna, and it just comes to him. And I believe that 100%. I've heard other artists say that too. Yeah. It's absolutely 100% true. I think most people could do it. It's just they don't realize what's happening.
Skies swirl with brilliant colors. Faceless figures haunt the canvases, and crows mass in the background. The mysterious images hint at stories without explaining them, leaving it to the viewer, and even to the artist himself sometimes, to fill in the details with their imaginations.
I've always been kind of artistic. And then I had an injury where I was working. I had a job-related injury, and I had back issues, and it happened in October. So going into the wintertime, Marion would go to work every day, and I would be home by myself and Annie. And it gets pretty boring on Pillar Point in the wintertime. I mean, especially, I wasn't able to go ice fishing, I wasn't able to go hunting or anything like that for quite a while. So my daughter ended up sending me some canvases and paints, and I just started trial and error. And you just, like anything, you get the more you do it, the better you get. And I wasn't really, the people around me, they were just like, oh yeah, it's just a hobby or whatever. But then when I started putting them in art shows, I started winning awards. And people were actually, enthused about my paintings and stuff. I'm like, oh wow, it's maybe something is happening here. And I was involved with a few galleries, and then there was a North Country Art Show in Watertown, New York, at the State Office Building. I won an award there, and it's satisfying. I don't do it for awards, and I don't do it for the money. I just do it because I love doing it. I love it how it takes my mind away from reality and my issues with my legs and back.
Because of his lack of formal training, Horbacz considers himself an outsider artist. Drawing from personal experience and creative inspiration, he makes compelling art that is often surprising, haunting, beautiful, and profound.
I love to paint my dreams. I find, because when you paint, I have lots of paintings, and you get painter's block and whatever. But if you dream consistently and often, it's just a wealth of subjects. I mean, how strange dreams are. I mean, I dream of faceless people. I used to dream about a little girl in a dress faceless little girl in a dress with a bouquet of balloons. I painted her quite often. Clocks without hands. Just cityscapes. Also, I'll have reoccurring dreams. If I don't paint, if I wake up and I have that dream, any dream, and if I don't paint it, I'll dream it again, and then I'll dream it again, and then I'm like, well, I better paint this, and once I paint it, it goes away. When I started painting, I always I would dream about clocks with no hands on. And in fact, a long time ago, I seen a Twilight Zone movie where there was a guy that had, he was the only guy left in the world, and he broke his glasses, I think, and there was a clock with no time, no hands on it, in the downtown where he was, by the library. And I always remembered that, and I think that might have influenced me with the clock with no hands too. But I don't know, everything would be so much better if you didn't have to go by the clock. It'd probably be total chaos, but.
Horbacz's inspirations come from dreams, but his art is anchored by his lifelong experience in the natural and man-made landscapes of the North Country.
Well, I grew up in Watertown. I lived there all through my childhood, and we didn't go to Disneyland, or we didn't go to Virginia Beach, or we went fishing. And that was, he loved fishing. He was from Brooklyn. He used to fish on the ocean, and came up here. He liked fishing here, and he used to take me all the time. And then when I got old enough, I started to hunt up to Tug Hill, up by Barnes Corners, and I just love the woods. The woods are beautiful, and especially deer hunting, because you're pretty much by yourself. I mean, you can go up with other guys, but you're by yourself, and you just kind of and you have to be quiet, and you have to be motionless, and you really get to observe nature at its finest by just sitting there and paying attention. And that's what I believe a lot of that was influenced by art. And I paint a lot of birds, and I love boats and water scenes, and I'm not a big landscape guy, but I like, if I do a landscape, it's going to have a bird in it, or a boat, or something along the lines. Watertown has they call it a big crow problem. I think it's awesome. I mean, I would go down, when I worked on the square at the gallery at the square in Watertown, right around dark, tens of thousands of crows would come, and they would just swirl around the square, like just kind of like the movie The Birds. They're fascinating birds. I mean, they like shiny things. They can solve problems. You know, to get a treat, they'll solve a complicated problem to get a treat. You know, the people that work with them, and I just find them so amazing and beautiful. My buddy Will Salisbury, that just passed away, he has 3 gigantic crows up in this little path up behind his house, and I always like those. They're amazing. He was amazing, and him and I became friends because of the crow thing. I mean, I probably would have just been another artist, but being that I have a lot of crows, and that my name of my art practice is As the Crow Flies Artworks, and that was, you know, and we got to be really good friends because of the crows. It's like a lot of these water scenes, like these 3 right here, and probably more down here, but that has to do with Maine. My daughter lives up in Maine, up in Bangor. She's a professional artist, and I love going up there to visit. And you know, when she was working, Mary and I would just drive around. We just go to, like, Bar Harbor. It doesn't do anything for me. You know, that's a big tourist trap. We like going to the lobster villages, like in Stonington. Stonington is like, I believe Stonington is an island, and there's a big bridge that connects it. And there's not a restaurant or a bar or anything on that island. It's just people live there and they go fishing every day. And just the visual of seeing these little houses with all the lobster traps and the buoys and the just nautical stuff, is just, I find it beautiful.
Even though he doesn't have formal artistic training, Horbacz uses time-honored techniques in his art to create layered backgrounds that give each painting depth and texture.
I really, really enjoy putting a lot of time into the backgrounds. I find that I spend a lot of time on the backgrounds, and I kind of paint from the back to the front. And sometimes I don't even know where I'm going until I get the background the way I want it. And then I start doing a kind of putting in dimensions with like vines or trees or plants. And I try to bring it out, and then I'll layer over the top of it whatever subject I decide to go with. I find that the sparrows kind of like, it makes it look like they float. Mm-hmm. You know, when you have a background that's going horizontal, and sometimes they'll go vertical, just to mix it up. It would probably, I've had very, very established artists ask me how I do it. And I kind of find pleasure in that too, because it's you know, it's just something I kind of stumbled on myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm not trained, you know, and it's, I don't know, it's just enjoyable.
In some paintings, Horbacz uses a technique called sgraffito to create complex layered effects. Sgraffito, which means scratched in Italian, goes back to antiquity.
Yeah, I learned that back in like second grade. I mean, we were coloring with crayons, and then we would paint over it with black, and then you'd scrape off the black, and all the color would come out from the bottom. That's pretty much exactly what I do with this stuff. A lot of these paintings. Like for instance, I'll take a palette knife, and I'll go horizontally across with a palette knife, and then it leaves like little layers, little ribs coming across like this one right here.
As a painter who started later in life and without formal training, Horbacz reminds us that art is for everyone.
People say, oh, I can't do that, I can't do that, I can't do art. Everybody's got a camera in their pocket. If you see something cool, you see a spider web with dewdrops in it, take a photograph of it. Take a photograph of, and just continue doing that. And then maybe eventually you will paint that. You'll have the photograph and you say, oh, maybe I'll give this a try. I believe everybody is capable of doing this. It's not just me or a handful of other people, it's everybody can do this. They just have to lose the inhibition of being scared of what other people think. What I hope from this exhibit is I want people to enjoy this. Like I said, either like it or hate it. I just want people to see it. And because if it wasn't here, it'd be in my room all stacked up and collecting dust. I mean, I just want to thank everybody for appreciating my art and having me here, and I'm just happy.
TAUNY is a community project made possible by the participation of many. We look forward to having you join us.